Call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, any adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, please. I would like to take item E in place of item C, and then shift C and D down. The reason for that is when you sign the warrant, there'll be a choice to sign whether or not the selectmen recommend adoption or not. Sometimes those are put on the warrant article, sometimes they aren't. So if we could discuss that first, that'd be great.
Or C? So C becomes...
E becomes
C.
C.
C becomes E?
Yeah, we can do it that way.
Okay. Any other?
No other additions or deletions?
Along with signing the warrant, we also need to sign the municipal officer certification of the TIF program, the application,
Okay.
I believe, because we're going to post it as a public
Yes,
day.
sorry,
at the
well,
special
that's
town meeting. So if you want to add that with the signing of the warrant.
So it's...
Right, you need a certification for the warrant, right?
Yeah, so
Certification for this plan,
Right.
as an attachment.
Okay, so we'll be signing the warrant with
With the
the
certification.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, move to approve.
So move. Second.
All in favor? Public forum. Anybody have anything? Okay. Moving on, minutes, February 27th. You just gave us a substitute page here?
Yes, I corrected Roy Kinney's, the spelling on Roy Kinney's
Oh,
last
okay.
name.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Anybody have any corrections? Modifications?
Second.
Is there a second on the motion to approve?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who made the motion to approve?
I will-
Oh, Helen, okay. All in favor then? Okay, committee board reports.
Economic Development Committee will meet tomorrow evening, 6 p.m., I'm sorry, here at the library. It's at 6. Planning Board meets Thursday the 13th at 7 p.m. in the library. Nomination papers are available on March 17th at Town Hall and due back by April 24th. There's one selectman position, one RSU 21 director, 2 3-year terms for the budget board, 2 2-year terms for the budget board, and 2 1-year terms for the budget board. And the Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours will be held at Weir's Motors in their new showroom on March 19th from 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay. We have new business then. Selectmen to review and consider approval of a malt spirituous and Venus liquor license renewal for Jeffrey and Norm Heavey, DBA Dutch Elm Golf Course by Brimstone Road, Arundel.
Make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Any comments from anybody? We have to have a public hearing on this.
I do have our contract deputy's approval, code enforcement
Okay.
officer has been out, so we don't have that.
Okay, sure. Motion been made. Anything else? Yeah, all in favor? Similarly, we have a license to approve, liquor license to approve for Christian Kohler and Teresa Andrioli, DBA Coffee Breakers, Inc., also known as Seafood Center of Maine, 1181 Portland Avenue.
Again, I have the
Okay.
contract deputy's approval.
Move to accept. Second.
Any further discussions or comments? Anybody? All in favor? Okay, so now we're moving down to Selectmen's decision to vote on recommendation to be placed on the special town meeting warrant for Arundel Utility District TIF. Selectmen recommend approval or not.
That is correct. Sometimes the selectmen will place a recommendation on adoption, sometimes they will not. I hope that you've had a chance to review. I've got new copies of the CMP TIF, or the Arundel Utility Safety Municipal Development District. In front of you on your desk, there were a few acronyms that were used that had to be revised, and there were a few typos in the original. So in essence, it's the same document that you got on Friday, and the same document that we've reviewed in the past. Shanna had reviewed this document. Everything seems to meet the legal requirements. The comments that we received back on the typos and such were from the Department of Economic and Community Development. So they've preliminarily reviewed the application, found nothing that was unable to be done that we're aware of. Nothing was brought to our attention that needs to be changed. Beth has certified the valuation. They've accepted the maps that we've used. And the values that are projected are conservative. In speaking with Central Maine Power, there's a belief that there will be an additional 25 to 30% of valuation that will be realized in that district in the next 5 years. They wouldn't commit to anything. They gave us conservative numbers as well, so what we were using is approximately $1.5 million as the valuation increase, and that should go up even higher than that, but we don't know until Central Maine Power gets us specific figures. So the financing methods that we use, the justification of why the brush truck was included, why a UTV was included, frontline attack pumper, garage bay expansion, those are all things that the garage bay expansion isn't a necessity, but if it's not in the plan, then it's something that we wouldn't be able to do. If we realize additional funds in that TIF, then we would have to go back to the public to have a subsequent approval of the district if we make any changes to purchase equipment that's not listed in here.
So if we decide not to go with the fire bay improvement and use something else,
Then we would have to go for a revision to that TIF, that's correct. The way this is structured, just so that you're aware, the Board of Selectmen has the ability to authorize lease purchase payments through a TIF, straight through the Board of Selectmen. In the event that we decide to go out to municipal bonding, that will have to go to a town meeting vote, and the people will have to vote on bonding. Right now, projections are between 2 and 4% for the bonds, and about 1.75 to 2% on a lease purchase plan through Androscoggin Bank, is who I spoke with. So we also have the option to approve the money and buy the items as the funds become available. Those don't need to be specified in the application. The state only has to approve the apparatus, the training, and the method by which we're going to fund this district.
These numbers changed from the last ones?
These numbers did change from the last ones, but what it was, there was a decrease of about $600,000 in the valuation of the district because we received erroneous information, or we misinterpreted the information we got from Commissioner Gervais. We believed that we could go back to March 31st, 2013, and we can only go back to March 31st, 2000. No, we believe we can go back to 12, we can only go back to 13. So the amount of valuation that we lost was actually confirmed by CMP that we gained almost exactly that amount in what their valuation. We were too conservative with CMP's number. We had figured $1 million, CMP's figuring $1.5 million now with the potential for another $750,000 in year 3.
Okay, so does the board want to give its imprimatur with respect to passage of the town meeting warrant article that established this TIF?
I make a motion that we recommend approval.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion of that? Okay. All in favor? Because needs were suggested the town approve that. So now we want the selectmen to review and sign the notice of public hearing for the Arundel Utilities District TIF. With that hearing to be held on 3/24 at 7 p.m. here at the school library.
That is correct. copy of the,
We've got a copy of the notice
Okay.
here. I do, does anybody else have?
and just so that, to clarify what Tom said, the public hearing will begin at 7 PM. The special town meeting will start at 7:15. Janet said it doesn't matter if we run late or if we start, we can't start early, but we can run late, so if we start the town meeting late, that'll be fine. And we move forward on the public hearing notice.
So we're anticipating a lot of input.
Is it supposed to be?
Those are, I just passed out tonight, one of them has your recommendation, which you can vote on, and one of them didn't have a recommendation, where it says right below Article 2.
We
One
love
of
the
them-
signature line, Jason.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it
Oh,
would be,
okay.
but you don't have to sign that, that's your warrant, but
Right.
this is the
Right now,
notice
it's
of
just a
public
notice-
hearing.
Public
Yeah.
hearing notice.
It should be in your packet, I believe, was in your packet.
So we need a motion just to authorize this to
Yes.
To post,
Be
to
posted.
sign and post it.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor now? Okay.
That's the original one, and how many copies to post.
Next item then would be the Selectmen to review and sign the special town meeting warrants for the Arundel Utility District 6. The vote to be held on 3/24 and about 7:15, well, 7:15 or PM or later, here at the gym with the certification necessary, and now with the Board of Selectmen's recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor then?
There's two copies.
Moving right along. Okay, item F under new business
Folks,
is,
before you move there, I need municipal certification of the.
oh,
the-
that was
Oh,
part of
that's
the
the next
motion.
one? I'm sorry. That was part of the
I
motion?
made it part of that motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
thought it was just to approve the
No.
warrant. Okay. I'll pass that along. Sorry.
All encompassing motion.
Okay. Motion and certification,
Yes.
okay. And we're putting that on the website?
Yes, we are. Best places to live in Maine website.
We ought to change our heading.
I'm gonna change something up there. I can't change the heading, I gotta send that to the gov office to do, so.
Best place to live, must Must be the best place to own a business.
I had to, because I couldn't say what I wanted to say.
You get plenty of room on Route 1.
Yes, absolutely. Not to live either.
Does Sean have to come pick it up?
He can pick it up, he can bring it as long as Sean signs it and brings it in.
I will have Sean, I live in town to bring them.
Okay, item F then is the belated appointments of Mr. John Bell, Sean Hayes, and Dave Gonthier to the Budget Board for the 2013-2014 fiscal year.
They've already started.
Yeah, so moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Thank you for reminding me of that.
Like a sign.
Yes, get it all out of the way.
Okay. Update Selectmen on status of Limerick Road property.
It's all still there.
That's good to hear.
So, I met with Steve Emerson this morning to make sure that he was on the same page as we were the last time I spoke with him. The only change that he recommended is that the town put in the buffer trees between the house and the property should the town decide to purchase it. There was a request for 5% down after the vote within 10 days. I said I don't think that was going to be an issue if the public actually voted to approve purchase. I believe that the appraisal will be complete by the next meeting on March 24th. I received a telephone call from, when we first started talking about building a town hall, I had spoken to the Kennebunk Land Trust to see if they had any interest in partnering with the town of Arundel and purchasing a large piece of land to place a town hall on. Didn't think there was a snowball's chance in Saco that would go through. Received a phone call from Mary Louise St. Onge, who's the executive director, which I failed to return. Received another call, got a call from Jack Reitz and said, call Mary Louise. I called her. We're meeting tomorrow at 1:30 to discuss the possibility of the land trust partnering with the town and purchasing that property on the Limerick Road. They're interested because of the proximity and the potential for the easement to gain access to the eastern trail, as well as the nature of the parcel in and of itself, the fact that the town would possibly do some walking trails, maybe a picnic area in there, and try to keep it as natural as possible. They're interested in venturing into Arundel and do some conservation and trust activities here. So I will meet with them at 1:30 tomorrow and let you know on the 24th what comes of that meeting. It's my understanding that the board, what's the name of the board, Jack? the Board of Acquisition Board, or it's
Yes.
been vetted through the boards. They gave Mary Louise the okay to talk to me, so I will be very happy to report to you anything I find out on that. And we're just waiting for the weather to break here for a little bit to get Will Conway over there to do the soil suitability tests on that property. And then we should have everything in order. I told Stephen Emerson that I would keep him apprised of the situations, and if everything comes in line and the board decides to place this on the town meeting warrant, then I'd recommend the purchase and sale agreement be put together in order to hold the property until such time as we can get that going. He said he is in favor of holding off, his partner is in favor of holding off as well, and he's looking forward to hearing back from us. So, yeah, there's some promise there.
If we get involved with the land trust, would that prohibit any clearing for recreation fields and
That's what
such?
I want to figure out tomorrow, is exactly how much of the property they're going to want to hold in trust, because if we need, let's say, 6 or 7 acres in addition to put fields in there, that needs to be stated clearly so that the deed reflects that, so we can use that part of the property.
Once we're in, there's no getting out, right?
Right, exactly, yeah, once it's in the conservation trust, there is no way out, there's no
We need to
mechanism
be
to get
sure
out.
we don't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a good opportunity that could help out a little bit.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as it don't hurt us further down in the future.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely I'll keep the town's best interest in mind as I have the conversation, and if it's too restrictive, then I guess it just won't be something that we'll be able to work out.
Will we know about it before it happens?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. As soon as I'm done meeting with her tomorrow, I'll send an email just to give you a brief overview of what happened, and then we'll discuss it at the meeting on the 24th. If there's any, desire to move forward with it, we'll try to work out details between the board and the land trust to see what we can come up with.
Yeah, they must have some sort of standard work that they follow,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have trails on most of their parcels, and so there's no problem with that sort of thing. But I will bring that to their attention, that we may need a portion of that. We would plan to put rec fields on there.
Yeah, that was part of the push
Yeah.
to go to that property, because it was large enough to develop and do some stuff for the town.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, depending upon their level of participation, particularly dollar-wise, I think we'll keep an open mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure not, Phil, but, I mean, we can raise the concern, but
Yeah.
I don't think.
Right.
If it's a check for the entirety of the parcel, we might
Yeah.
bow to their wishes.
Yeah.
And that's the update on the Limerick Road. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, the next item is to inform us, as you have, of a potential $1,500 donation from Eastern Trail should the town decide to pave the parking area adjacent to the Limerick Road vicinity of the Eastern Trail.
Eastern Trail will be meeting at their meeting on, will be voting at their meeting on Wednesday whether or not to donate $1,500 to the town. We already have the Rural Active Living Assessment Grant for $1,500, which would, if Eastern Trail and with the LA grant, we would have enough money to do the gravel portion. If the board is interested in moving forward with the paved portion there, that would end up costing the town about $3,000. According to Roger's estimates, it was, I believe, $6,092, somewhere in that ballpark, to pave and do the grub work.
So this $1,500 contingent or is dedicated to
Paving
paving?
portion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a time frame associated with that? It would have to get done this year, or?
I anticipate that we could do it this fiscal year. I think that they would probably, we need to spend the RALA funds.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
The
The
1,500
paving.
from, you're right.
Yeah, I can talk to Tad, their meeting's Wednesday, and I'll have that question raised at the meeting to see if it would have to happen this fiscal year.
Because, Phil mentioned this at the last meeting, I think, personally, I think we should, make an area there and see how it works and then go in with the paving after. It's just my,
But if they're not totally dedicated to the paving portion, we could take the $1,500 from the Eastern Trail and then take the $1,500 for the RALA grants and do some upgraded crosswalks and kind of bring some more attention to that crossing if we decided to go that route as well. Our funds have to be spent this year. If their funds need to be spent this year, then we can have that conversation at the next meeting. I'm not planning to bring the parking ordinance to a vote until we're sure we're gonna move forward on the parking, because we don't wanna remove the parking, remove the no parking and then not move forward with the parking on the side of the road. And then when we do have that conversation, another conversation I plan to have is with the board in regards to Troy leaving the no parking in the other section and starting enforcing that ordinance in the section where there are no off-street parking spaces available. I think that'll clean things up. I think that'll take away even another level of safety, that if we have the parking there, we don't necessarily want people parking on the other side of the road where they shouldn't be.
Right.
So Troy will do that at my direction. I just want to make sure that the board will be okay with that.
And we really need to have something there for handicap parking. We can't have handicap drop-off, because if you have someone in a wheelchair who drives up with his car, and how is he going to have a drop-off there if he can't leave his car there to take the wheelchair to go on the trail? So we've got to have something so that there's some handicap parking.
Now, there's 2 handicap drop-offs, right? I believe 2 spots for handicap drop-off. We could more than likely keep those as handicap parking rather than just drop-off.
Because drop-off, the gentleman that I know that used the trail, and he drove his own van there. You know, he has his van is all handicap usable.
Yeah.
And gets his wheelchair out of the back, and nobody takes him there
Yeah,
and drops him
not
off.
dropping himself
Yeah.
off, yeah.
So, anybody else want to see that paved right off the bat? Or?
No, I agree with you and Phil. I mean, I think we gotta see how it works.
Yeah.
But eventually, if it does, there's no doubt we're gonna have to.
If it works, we should pay for it,
Yeah,
but we should wait at least one season.
I agree.
if
yeah,
not
see how
more.
it works, yeah.
Excellent.
Would it be worth putting a sign there that says parking for Eastern Trail only, so people don't
Oh, yeah.
use like Maryland's Field, park there and
Go play
go
football.
play, I don't want to piss Maryland off. I'm sure it's a minimal cost,
Yeah.
$50 or something for.
Yeah, we certainly can do that.
I'm sure people will pay attention to those signs like they're paying attention. Okay, so we want to go into executive session at this point to discuss a personnel
Well,
matter.
we're gonna discuss the budget, so I think it might be wise to just take a 10-minute quick break in the executive session and then come back, if that's okay.
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Title I MRS, Section 405.6A, to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved. Second?
Wow, thanks, guys.
All in favor? You want to retire over?
Yeah, we can go to the conference room.